All right, peace, everyone. Uh, welcome. I'm Piper Carter, your host. This is Beyond Breaking Barriers. It's a Monday at 8 p.m., and we're here to talk about women in hip hop. Welcome. I want to say welcome. Thank you. These are, I gotta have reading glasses. I turned 52 last week. Yeah, so gotta have some glasses to read these days. Um, so what's up, Quaker anarchist, old Greece, Sith Lord Prince. Um, I see Abdul Malik Assad is a new member. Welcome. This is Black Power Media. It's a Monday, and yeah, this is Beyond Breaking Barriers. My name's Piper Carter. I'm your host, and yeah, we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have a conversation about initially I really wanted to address um oh, you don't have headphones. Hmm. How do I enable? You know what? If you're on YouTube, just enable your uh captions. Yeah. And what's up, Jamon? Peace, Jamon. um so let's see. Oh, I see what I see. Yeah. Um Initially I wanted to talk about like the whole Nicki Minaj, Meg Thee Stallion, which I still will. I still have incorporated that into this discussion. Um Wanted to acknowledge that this weekend was the Grammys. There were a lot of interesting things. Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw the Grammys. Normally I don't watch the Grammys, but they had some artists that I like, Janelle Monáe and SZA. Um, yeah, Coco Jones. So they had some great black women artists on there. There were some great moments in the Grammys, like that hug between SZA and Lizzo. Like that was super beautiful. The black woman rock. I think also too another great moment that was fun and beautiful was just SZA's excitement about winning. I mean, I know, we're here to talk about capitalism, but she's young and it was exciting to see a young person, kind of excited about uh being acknowledged for their achievement and, just getting that. So that was cool to see SZA get that. You know what I mean? And I like her music. She has worked hard. Let me tell y'all something. I told y'all that I have like worked in Detroit as doing like assistant stage manager. Maybe I've said that, maybe I haven't. At one of the top venues that's here. Top meaning like they book a lot of the big acts. And uh when SZA first came out, actually one of my challenges with working with the independent, well, the venue is like a city venue. It's owned, like the property's owned by the city, but the um company that manages it is independent. So one of the challenges of being like a black independent entertainment company is this idea of money. I really want to bring Jared Ball on here to do a whole music industry series with his buying power, the myth of black buying power book. I really want to do a music industry series, but I'll say this, like working with and for a black independent entertainment company, one of the challenges is that they're trying to balance like how do they like make money, right? Like how do they earn a living and how do they pay their employees, right? Because people aren't just working because they want to work. People at the end of the day have to be able to take care of their bills, and they want to send their kids to college. And ultimately, they, got into whatever, ideally, they got into it, usually in entertainment. They got into it because they care, right? They care about the arts, and they care about, ooh, my hair. It's like they care about the arts, and they care about creativity, right? These are all ideals, right? And so what happens is reality sets in, and then people have to figure out the material aspects, right? So you have employees, and you have bills to pay, and you have overhead, and you have marketing costs, and you have to um feed your family, and anyway, there's all the cost of doing business, right? You have to pay all these artists and insurance and all the other things that it goes into, like running a venue. And so uh what ends up happening is, even if and when people got into this for like a certain whatever, they start making different decisions, right, based on when they start looking at their finances. And so that's how many times a lot of these decisions are made, because that's what people decide, like how they're going to make their money. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I would always suggest, because I always was into all types of music, and I guess have my finger on the pulse, or a tastemaker, as they say. So way back when, before uh people knew who she was, I'm like, we should have SZA, like open for some of these, other acts. And it was like, who is she? You know, like no one knows who she is. Like, how much money does she want? And will people pay to see her, type of thing. I mean, they did the same thing with Estelle. I mean, and I'm not talking about the years in which people know them. I'm talking about when they're still booking, like trying to get people to know who they are. But I'm saying that to say that I remember when it's got to be a decade ago now. We had booked Kendrick, almost a decade. We had booked Kendrick, and Kendrick came with TDE, you know. So it's the whole 5 or 6 of them, and SZA. And this was after, I was trying to get them booked. And they were like, "Oh, is that the woman that you've been telling us about?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh yeah, she's cool. She seems cool, but we got to let her, like, mature a little bit." Now, at that point, she was like, still as incredible and amazing. I thought she could have got booked. Um, but they wanted to mature her a little bit. And then I remember, like, she made that kind of crossover point. I want to say in like her asking price. I'm feeling like around maybe 2018 ish. 20 was that 2017, 2018, when she kind of crossed over, and then she became kind of like, her asking price went way sky up. And I remember they were like, "Can you get us like, I need you to try to get SZA." And I'm just like, we can't afford SZA now. But I'm saying that to say that I'm really happy for her, because yeah, just watching her grow has been amazing. I don't like everything that she does, but I like her. Like, I like the essence of her. Like, I like what she brings to the game, if you will. I like her, anyway. Peace, Global Stars Media X. I was just kind of like a little Grammy recap before we get into the discussion. What were some other highlights? There were a lot of highlights. Oh, the Fantasia, the Beyonce. What are, what are they doing football when they like give you that that curve thing that Beyonce did when she put her head down under the her 10-gallon hat? She was And then I saw they was talking junk on Twitter, talking about the Grammys turned into a Beyonce meet and greet. Everybody was trying to take pictures with Beyonce. That was funny. I will say, yes, I want to end on that one though. I'm gonna end on that one. The Jay-Z um moment. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was disappointed. And the reason I was disappointed is because I'm like, he gets the Global Impact Award and he uses it to like, I mean, and it's whatever, okay, yeah, Beyonce should have got, album of the year, whatever. But I was just disappointed that he didn't say anything about the various genocides. How do you get a Global Impact Award and then you don't say anything about global issues? Like that right there is the pinnacle of selfishness. Like that's a perfect example of the pinnacle of selfishness. It's like you have this award that you're getting called the Global Impact Award because apparently you have a global impact. And it's your moment to like address all these people for this service that you've done in the world. And you use it for like a personal moment to like air out like a personal beef because you feel you've been slighted in some way. Um that you've been slighted. Like, oh, we didn't get album of the year. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm not even, to be honest, I'm not even mad that he said that. But I'm like, he could have took a minute to just say um something about genocide, right? Like he already made his little jokes about like who should and shouldn't, be on the list or whatever, right? I mean, how difficult would it have been to be like, and we shouldn't be doing genocide either. Some of y'all are doing genocide and you need to stop. Um and he is a capitalist and I'm not surprised by it. I am annoyed is really more what it is really more annoyed that it's like I get annoyed that he keeps getting credited with being like this evolved person in the industry, and it's like there is no evolution. It's still straight. He's still a black capitalist. So any hootie rooty tootie, that's what I had to say. So uh want to say peace to Akuma. Songs of Saint Elsewhere, Sicily, Leah Boggs. Right. Capitalists are pro genocide, right? So yeah, I was just saying Big Teal and Leah Boggs, since y'all just joined us, that in the Jay-Z moment, he just decided to just be like, oh, what about my wife? And I was just thinking, like, what about the genocide? What about this global genocide? And he didn't say a word. And that was really, and it took, the only person was the white lady, right? All these black artists, and the only one that said anything, right, was Annie Lennox. Was the only one that was like, you know, yeah, Killer Mike got arrested. They say he punched somebody at like 4 o'clock up the block and they called the cops or whatever. That was the last like tea that I heard about it. I'll have to keep checking. But let me go back. Tracy Chapman. Can we talk about Tracy Chapman? Tracy Chapman looks like she's aging backwards. She looked amazing, right? She looked amazing. Um, I'm surprised she didn't say anything about the genocide either. Now let's just keep it a bean. But she looked amazing. Um, and she sounded great. She sounded incredible. I thought she sounded incredible. But yeah, Annie Lennox was like the lowly only white lady, the only artist to say anything about the genocide the whole time. And but any hootie Rudy tootie, that's like that Grammys talk. I wanted to talk about You said let's talk about Tracy. Okay, yeah. No, I mean, I went back and looked at an old video of her. Was it what's the name of that stadium in London? And it showed she had like the whole stadium like silent. Like, how do you have a whole outdoor stadium silent and you're singing on acoustic guitar? You know what I mean? Um that's that's talent. But yeah, she did her thing. So shouts out to Wembley. Thank you, Wembley. So shouts out to Tracy Chapman, for doing her thing. Oh, also too, this Saturday, I went to Amp Fiddler's funeral and wake. And if y'all don't know who Amp Fiddler is, rest in peace to Amp Fiddler. He's the one who discovered um Jay Dilla. He's the one who taught Jay Dilla how to open up the MPC. He's the one who nurtured him and tutored him. He passed away on December the 18th, rest in power. And he we had his services on Saturday, but he won a Grammy for his song with Tracy Chapman. So he won, and he always wanted to win a Grammy. So he won the Grammy. He maybe he's seeing it from where he is. That he won. But just also want to say that in this moment, he won the 2024 Grammy. Yeah, and you could look up his history. He played with George. He was the keyboard player for Parliament Funkadelic. You know, work with Raphael Sadiq and Lucy Pearl, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You can look up all the people that he has worked with. It's like whoa, whoa, whoa. And George Clinton sent in a video to his funeral. Ali Shaheed Muhammad sent in a video to his funeral. Raphael Sadiq sent in a video to his funeral. So Questlove sent in a video to his funeral. And he is and he was and is a very pivotal figure in Black music, in neo soul, in hip hop, in rock, in funk, you know, um, and also chamber music. So you know, so he Quaker Anarchist is asking me there's a tune that he does. I always forget names of songs. It's called More. Hold on, let me see. Amp Fiddler. One of the tunes I love is what is it called? More Than. It's a tune called More Than. That's my jam. That's off of his, his music. Check out More Than. It's really cool. It's like it builds up. It's kind of funky. It's kind of contemporary, and it kind of gives you it's kind of hip hop, but it's like soulful, but it's got a little bit of kind of housiness to it. Like he loved like chamber music as in classical music. Chamber music is in classical music. So I pulled up a bunch of the original reason I wanted to talk to y'all was because I wanted to talk about these beefs. And so I looked up a bunch of different articles, right? Do y'all know there are so many articles on just like beefs in hip hop? And I mean, so I want to start. So there's this article. I'm gonna pull it up. Sorry, y'all. I've been busy. I told y'all all day Saturday I was at I told y'all Saturday I was at a funeral. The funeral started 10 a.m. It ended at about 4:30 p.m. and then the wake went until like 9:30 p.m. So yesterday I was trying to catch my sleep. And then today I had to work and I've been up since early this morning. I had mad Zoom calls and meetings and things. So I did my research, but I haven't sent them up so I can show y'all. So I'm gonna email myself them, just so that I can get y'all these all these notes. But I'm telling you, it's so I looked up, I had to remember because I have a good memory. I was there for a lot of the beefs. But also too, I wanted to do y'all a little service and not try to just only use my memory for the show. But yeah, my goodness, like so many. So I wanted to, maybe I'll start with this one. And so if I go to zipdo.co and I look up rap industry statistics. So 2024. So I was like, because the Black Power media, y'all are very knowy. But I just want to pull up some of the statistics. I've just pulled this up before I do all the. All right, boom. So let me share the screen. And let me do my share screen. There we go. Boom. Share that. Okay. So this on this site, I'm not married to it, but it had some decent, statistics on it, where it talks about all the streams, uh, people's net worth and things like that. And this is all pulled in from different data, right? Across like streaming and sales and all the things. And so obviously hip hop generates like more streams than any other genre. um they're given like Jay-Z's net worth or whatever. There's like a 78% increase in rap and hip hop since 2015 to 2018. um Obviously since March 2021, the most streamed tracks on Spotify globally belong to the rap and hip hop genre. Um, as of 2020, hip hop and rap genres were the most popular on Apple Music. 7 of the 10 highest paid rappers in the world come from the US as of 2020. Um, Record companies in the US had a total revenue of 12.2 billion in 2020. And a huge portion of that comes from rap and hip hop industry. Half of the 10 most viewed YouTube videos in 2021 were hip hop music videos. Women artists made up about 22% of performers in the rap and hip hop songs in 2020. They give us these freaking stats about Eminem that I don't care about. They talk about how rap music has, been gaining traction since the 80s and early 90s. 46% of the top 1,000 songs in 2018 were from the rap and hip hop genre. Um, Rap music represents 5% of total music sales in the US. I don't know what that means. I'd have to probably talk to Dr. Ball about that. That seems like 5% of total music sales. Um, Online platforms account for nearly half of all listening hours of rap and hip hop as of 2021. The recorded music market grew 7.4% in 2020, and rap and hip hop saw an increase of 13% in that same year. The music industry is crying, saying they're losing 12.5 billion annually in potential revenue due to music piracies, with rap being the most pirated. Uh as of 2020, they say Drake was the most streamed artist. Yeah, I believe that. Then they go on to give a bunch of Drake stats. And then so back in between 89 and 2021, 270 nominations for best rap performance at the Grammys, and 24 of them were women. So 1 in 5 songs in the Billboard Top 100 in 2020 were from the rap and hip hop genre. Now, this year was, let me go here. This year was a let me see, how do I go? This year was a record year, right? So let me see. I pulled this up from their I kind of borrowed this from let me not lie about where I got it from. Okay, boom, here we go. So I'm gonna do a share again. This I reposted on my um Twitter, so I'm just going to, this is my Twitter, my meaning my We Found Hip Hop Twitter. I reposted this from the Inclusionists, and they said that this year the Grammys increase from 15.15% in 2022 to 24% in 2023 across 6 major categories, right? So they're talking about, like, they're saying that basically there's more women, right? As far as like women music producers, it increased from 3.5% in 2022 to 6.5% in 2023. Women artists increased from 30.2% in 2022 to 35% in 2023. So, and women songwriters increased 14.1% in 2022 to 19.5% in 2023. Now, they say that SZA is the first, I think, let me see. What did they say about SZA? That she was the first since Lauryn Hill, right? Or let me see. Let me make sure I get the exact, uh oh, you know what? I put it on my Twitter, but I don't want to take y'all all through my tweets. So let me go straight here. Okay. No, they didn't win album of the year, but I think she won like song. She won song of the year. And I was trying to see like since when. These are all the older. Okay, she was the first black woman to win since Lauryn Hill, right? Win song of the year since Lauryn Hill. Yeah, I got that right. So hey, happy Monday. So oh, thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Big Teal. And wait, what did you say, Big Teal? You said I would think mostly independent artists would be losing, not. What do you mean? Just don't know what you mean. You mean losing money? I'm not sure. Yeah, not sure. But I wanted to like start with that and this whole so Killer Mike, not sure the specifics, but do know he did punch someone, allegedly punch someone around 4 o'clock earlier that day. And that's what I know so far, unless y'all are more up to date. And that person call the police. So that's what I know. Um yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, or I don't even remember time, you said, what did you say? Let me put it here. So Big Teal says yes, losing money in reference to those stats about who was losing money in hip hop music industry. Right. No, okay, I see what you mean. So let me go back to your other um so you're saying you would think that mostly independent artists would be losing, not folks like Jay-Z and execs. And so this is the thing, like with my artists, we're not doing any streaming. People are like, you should do streaming, you should do streaming. But we're asking people to come to our website so that we, so that she wins directly and you can get a vinyl or you can get a digital download, which once you download it, you can stream it. We'll see. Do people like that? I don't know. Some people say it's whatever. But I think a lot of artists are doing that now. A lot of the big artists are like, I'm not gonna, some of them are like pulling their stuff from streaming. They're trying to figure it all out. Um, so it's a big, that whole thing about like streaming, and it's a big question right now because a lot of artists are like resisting against the whole like streaming thing. But the original reason I wanted to do this live was based on the beef between Meg and Nicki. So I'm trying to, and I didn't want to just relegate it like just to their particular beef. I will say though, let me say this. Did y'all see I posted on my Instagram, I reposted from Little Miss Flint. The barbs are disgusting. I don't know another way to put it. They've been very nasty. Little Miss Flint is a teenager now. I think she's around 16 and at now, but she's been doing water activism since I think she was like maybe 9, since the Flint water crisis, right? Started. So she, during the height of the beef, right? Like the day, like that next day or that day or whatever, Little Miss Flint posted some a whole post, pictures saying, "Hey, while y'all are feuding, and can you use your platform to highlight that Flint is not fixed, that Governor Snyder got away with murder, that um the infrastructure in that the people are being made to pay the burden of being poisoned, that the the infrastructure um in the city has not been restored, and basically the people are being made to like purchase these high quality filters, but basically if you know about like the situation, those filters only filter from the house, like uh from the street to the house, but the whole rest of the city is poisoned, right? And so the city should replace the pipes. That's what should happen. But in the meantime, people still need to have these filters. And imagine this whole city was poisoned, people died. And so it's still a huge thing. So Little Miss Flint is like, yo, Nicki, Meg, while y'all are beefing, can y'all please use your platform to highlight that Flint's not fixed, that we need these filters, that, and I thought it was strategic. I thought it was dope. Nicki's fans went after this little girl with the most vicious venom that I've never seen from, especially like in my life. They were taunting her for being poisoned. They taunted her for like, anyway, it was really, really right. And you have to replace the filters, right? And the way in which these fans went after her, it was terrible. If you go into my If you go on to Little Miss Flint's Instagram, you'll see the whole thing. It's really sick. It was really, really, really disgusting, you know. And it got me to thinking, like, you know, wait, you said she wrote a letter to the president at 8? Right, she wrote a letter to the president at 8. Okay. So I'm saying that to say that it got me to thinking. Go on to Little Miss Flint's Instagram if you want to see the whole thing. And you go to the comments. And then shouts out to Little Miss Flint, because you know what she did? She screenshotted like some of these um nasty comments and stuff that she got from the Barbs, and then she reposted and she did another post. Shouts out to her. That little young person is brave. And then she reposted on her Instagram, and she showed, look at these fans, y'all. Look how they're talking to me. Look how they're doing me. Um, so I really appreciate her bravery in that, and her courageousness, and her willingness to, fight for and advocate for herself. Um, but with that, it just started getting me to thinking about all of these fabricated rap beefs, right? Peace, stay balanced. Um, and you know what, Sith Lord Prince, I want to put you up. The fans don't know that when it comes to Flint, their hometowns are next. You know, we're in the water wars, right? We're in the water wars. We've been in the water wars, but we're definitely in the middle of the water wars now. And I told y'all that Nestle comes to Detroit, and we have the freshest body of water in the world, and they bottle our water for 200. They pay $200 a year to bottle our water and sell it back to y'all. And none of the monies that they get go back to anybody in Detroit that's suffering, that's had their water cut off, in Flint that's suffering, that's had their water cut off or been poisoned, and in Detroit and in Flint, the policy is when they cut your water off, they're like, let's say, even if you're 2 cents, right? If you owe money on your water bill, they show up to when they come to cut your water off, they show up to your house with the Detroit Police Department or police officers. If you have small children, not even small, if you have minors in your home without and if you have minors in your home, if you're a grandparent, a parent, a caregiver, when they cut the water off, they take the children from you. When they take your children from you, let's say you're like, well, let me call my uncle and borrow, $150 get my water cut back on. It's too late, because what has happened at that point, they've taken your children and they take them to, like, I call it kitty jail, which like a juvenile detention center. And then the caregiver or the parent or the guardian gets charged with abuse and neglect for not having water on. And then even if you pay the money back, you still have to try to get your children back. You have to prove that you didn't abuse or neglect them, which they put charges on abuse and neglect because they say that you had them without water. But they cut your water off, right? So that's beef. That's beef. That's beef against Black women. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's wickedness. Um, and so, anywho, Rudy Tootie, I'm going to say that as many times as I need to say that until everyone knows the wickedness that they do to people here. But getting back to what I was talking about around the hip hop beef, I was like, thinking about all the history of hip hop beefs, or not just history of hip hop beefs. I was thinking of the history of women in hip hop beefs, and one of them That, well, obviously what comes to mind, I'm gonna go back to, I have all these different, uh the original one would be the Roxanne, right? So we know that Roxanne Shante, when she came out, it was dissing UTFO. You know, something that I thought about too. Okay, boom. So when she came out and she was dissing the UTFO, if you think about it, many of the beefs have been orchestrated like by men, if that makes sense, right? Uh Meaning there was like a male producer figure that postured this woman to like, or girl basically, to do right this beef. So I think about that, and I think about like the age that she was, and just all the things, right? That in 2024, like growing up, you were like, but you just kept it pushing. But in 2024, you're like, how is this allowed? um, and yeah, the basis of it is capitalism. Like me and a buddy of mine argue all the time because I'm an out anti-capitalist, and his what he says, he self-identifies. He says he's a capitalist, but he says he's a conscious capitalist. And I'm like, that's not possible, bro. Like capitalism, and we always have this argument like capitalism is exploitation. So now I try not to use that word capitalism around him. I use the word exploitation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I get tired of the whole like we could use the money for good. And it's like, bro, that's what these corporations do. It's like the drug dealer who, it's like on some Frank Lucas. It's like, I'm gonna kill your brother, you know, RAPE your sister, get your mom hooked on the narcotic, but come Thanksgiving, y'all get turkey. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and even like when people say like, even in a nonprofit, like I do, I'm a cultural trainer for a nonprofit. Even a nonprofit, I did this. Do y'all know the spectrum exercise, where basically you create a challenging idea, because we're learning about our values. So a challenging idea, and then you present like a provocative question, and you ask people to go to where they think they belong on the spectrum, right? So let's say something like police are here to protect us, right? So you've got all the way from like abolitionists, you know what I'm saying, to people who are like, well, we could work inside the system and be good police and good judges and fix it, but the thing is you get like people to stand, right? So it's all the way from like totally agree to totally disagree, and then everything in the middle, and then people go to where they think they belong, and then we have these debates. But it's a way to get multiple voices into the conversation, and it's a way to like flesh out our ideas, and just be able to have conversation in a certain way, like in the space. And it's just interesting because uh when it comes to the capitalism conversation, even in a nonprofit world, you'll see people say like, well, we could do good with this money. You know what I'm saying? Like we could take this bad money and then we could do good with it. And that makes us like conscious capitalists. But anyway, I'm talking to the wrong people about the thing because everyone over here is abolitionist like me. um, but hey, how you doing? I think it's called Stream. Yeah. So I was thinking about this beef. Now, within this Nicki Minaj, Meg Thee Stallion beef conversation, there have been multiple conversations, right? One is around like the idea that, so apparently they had done a song together. Let me go back. because I'm old, and I had to go back in here and be like, how did this beef even like begin? Right. So if I go back here, I got this. So two things that I looked up. One was on The Economist, and one was on Billboard. But let's go to Billboard first. And let's see the beef. Nicki Minaj. And I apologize that I didn't have these references pulled up sooner. But I just wanted to show y'all, like they even know. Like they even know. So let's go on over there. And I'm gonna share the screen, and then I'm gonna go back to the chat and see what y'all are talking about. So this is Billboard, y'all. Y'all see that? It says this is in their business news section. It says the beef business. Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion's feud has been a moneymaker. Right? So Meg Thee Stallion's hiss saw a burst of streams after Minaj went after her in Bigfoot, right? That was on the 5th, and Elias Light is bringing us this story. Um So, do y'all know Coi Leray? She got beef with her dad, Benzino, but I guess she deleted her tweet, but she was saying that rap beef is so washed and tired. She's exhausted, embarrassed, and it's just corny, right? Um, duh-duh-duh-duh-duh. So it says that Meg Thee Stallion released his, uh, right, and so it was a diss song aimed at Nicki, right? So then Nicki, is I guess Bigfoot is a rebuttal, but I'm like, so okay, I gotta ask y'all a question. I got to ask y'all a question. So like, how did she have the song like ready so quickly? Like, cause oh wait, let me get the white lady off the screen. Like, how did they have the music ready so quickly? You know what I'm saying? Like how I don't understand. Like, so you have a beef, right? You got a beef, and you make a song, and then like immediately you have a diss track. I mean, I guess you have money, you can go in the studio and do that really quickly, and then get all your I mean, I guess if you have a machine, you can do it really quickly, but I don't know, y'all. I feel like something about this just you know what, Big Teal, the Barbs say they love Bigfoot. I don't believe the Barbs love Bigfoot because Bigfoot is a terrible song. Like, let's just be honest. And I don't really care for Meg or Nicki's music. I appreciate them as figures and their tenacity and their courageousness and them breaking these stereotypes of what womanhood should be and that kind of thing. But I really don't care about their music. Like, I'm not sitting up here downloading their music and listening to their music. I'll be honest with you. But it said that uh Meg's song launched at number 1, right? On the Hot 100. And then if I go through here, right? So Bigfoot, it looks like it didn't do as well. Well, it did, but okay, so it looks like it got up to wait, hold on. Nicki Minaj released Big for Sunday. Oh, and then that made the his streams go back up. So it looks like those kind of doubled actually. So it made so Nicki talking junk about Meg actually made Meg's streams go up, right? So uh what did I say? This is a little old. This was like I don't know, no, this is from today. This is from today. So it's not that old. So this is from today. All right, boom. So let's scroll back down. All right. So it says Billboard estimates that Hiss earned around 121,000 in royalties from the on-demand audio streams, and about 33,000 of which came from the Bigfoot bump, right? Like Nicki doing that whole rant helped boost Meg's, whole profile. Um and it looks like Meg the Stallion recently signed a distribution deal with Warner Music Group. So Bigfoot earned more than 44,000 in recorded music royalties and audio streams, right? And it says these are just estimates from Billboard. They don't take into account other sources or streams or sales, which were especially significant for Meg. So this is a chart that is Meg's daily on-demand audio streams, right? For her last two singles. So she's got Cobra and she's got Hiss. So this is this week, right? So we're looking at, or last week, right? So from Friday, I guess was the release date, to like last Thursday. Okay. You can see there was a significant dip in on Sunday, right? Or maybe it was like between lives, like Sunday, there was a significant dip for Meg's song Hiss, but you saw it jump on Monday, right? When Nicki released Bigfoot, which is interesting. Okay, boom. So it says in an industry where the competition for attention is fiercer than ever, the combination of controversy and celebrity remains the closest thing to a surefire winner. It says when you're in a very crowded marketplace with, however, many songs coming out on the streaming services every day, you have to figure out an angle to cut through the noise, says Eddie Blackman, a longtime A&R. Obviously, this is cutting through the noise. Beef always helps music because it just brings attention, adds another rap exec who requested anonymity to speak candidly. In the clickbait world that we're in, it gets the headlines. That's what people talk about. That gets the barbershops going. People react to negativity more than they do positivity. Meg the Stallion already has already proved adept at using celebrity and controversy to galvanize headlines and streaming, of course. When she released WAP with Cardi B in 2020, it says conservatives objected to the sexually explicit lyrics, turning the single into a culture war flashpoint and a number one hit. And when the two rappers released Bongos in 23, it failed to incense right-wing commentators. Right, which debuted at number 14 and quickly faded from view. And then they go on to talk about like Lil Nas X. They're talking about some other artists here. But any hootie rooty tootie, hip hop feuds are another strain of controversy with their own long history, fodder for many an internet list, right? And then they go on to give some of these historic, rap beefs that have happened, right? So it says the listeners love to take sides and abstract debates. Which rapper is more talented or more of a sellout, especially in an era where zealous fan armies vie for primacy online. But there can be dangerous real world consequences, right? So with beefs, there can be a bravado, right? Where they talk about, you know, violence. So in the case of Meg and Nicki, they're not saying that they think that it's going to turn into like offline violence, right? They're saying that right now is basically just, on wax. um and now now this is a chart that's looking at the daily streams. Let me turn this off. I don't want them on my. So this is a chart that looks at the daily streams for Hiss and Bigfoot. So this is the daily on demand audio streams for Hiss and for Bigfoot. So on the 29th, they both were, well, it looks like Nicki's Bigfoot was actually over the 4 million line, and Hiss was like below the 4 million line, but like maybe it was probably 3.8 or something like that. And then quickly, it looks like within that same day, it looks like maybe when people heard the song, the Bigfoot dipped all the way down, as you can see. And it's been steady declining. Whereas Meg's song, Hiss, has it's dipped, but it hasn't. It dipped a little, but it hasn't dipped as much as Nicki's. Nicki's has gone down all the way from like 4 million down to like 1 million, and which is, I mean, that's still a lot of people, but for their caliber, that's a lot. And you can see Meg's, it kind of stayed a little bit the same. It dipped a little, and now it's going back up. This is as of the 1st. Today's the 5th, so we'll see what that says. But it says if sales can be a side effect of some spats, they can also be the main event or her whole purpose, right? And then they go on to name some of the different battles that have happened, right? And it says squabbles over sales also help drive sales, right? So it's not a coincidence, when they're talking about your boy Kanye, that the graduation earned the biggest opening week at his career point. It says some skeptical hip hop fans believe that most of the feuds are cheap marketing stunts that are meant to help sell records, right? And there's a whole article that I also pulled up from the New York Times and another one I pulled up from The Economist around the financial viability of rap beefs, if you will. So but the New York Times noted that the feud was a marketing stunt, right? Not the Nicki, but the Kanye and 50 Cent beef, right? And then it says, we know there's real beefs and then there's manufactured beefs, right? I looked up, there's a whole nother set of resources that I looked up about manufactured beefs. That's pretty interesting. And I'm just kind of like skimming through to go to some of the more. So if I go down and it says many of the prominent music and culture focused accounts on X, Instagram, and TikTok are entrepreneurial, meaning they accept money for posts. So people spend tens of thousands of dollars across Instagram and blogs and X culture accounts. And that's one of the digital marketers who's not working with either Meg or Nicki. So narrative based campaigns are everything. You're getting the internet to see the parts of the story you want them to see. If you want to hurt somebody, for example, you seed out their low first week numbers when they release an album, knowing that everybody's just going to roast them. Um, it says Black Twitter has had a field day right now with this whole feud between Meg and Nicki. Um, she said that the advice is keep fueling it. So you want to continue the conversation. A second digital marketer uninvolved with either rapper agrees. If a rivalry is developing, artist teams can go to culture focused accounts and pay $50 or $100 for posts asking something as simple as who's harder. It's much easier to push a narrative on X, especially if you're a large artist. The digital marketer says you're going to get impressions just by using the name. Both Meg and Nicki seem keenly aware that their clash has the potential to drive clicks. Even as Nicki insults Meg in Bigfoot, she claims that she's doing her rival a favor. It's the most attention you've ever gotten. Meanwhile, his targets anyone using my name for likes. All this free promo, Meg raps. I'm turning a profit. I think that was the end. So that was the Billboard article. I'm going to go back over here and see what y'all have been saying in the chat because I know this y'all been out here. I have not been in the chat. Let me just see. I hope I don't put up some old thing. I did that before. My husband was like, "Babe, pay attention. Don't be putting up old comments because it make people don't know what you're talking about." Let me see. This is interesting. Hard to tell if manufactured or privileged people are figuring out the attention game to varying success. um, Big Teal said, I was wondering if the beef was marketing strategy and if there was material support for such a claim. I mean, we'll never have like material support for that claim because like they're saying that the management companies and the labels and things, they're going to these digital marketers to push this stuff. Right. These rappers. There you go. Said Big Teal said these rappers don't care about us. Well, Michael told us that, There's another article I want to pull up. Similar to that one. Now that one was the Billboard article, and where's the next one? There's a there's an old article that was from the New York Times. I'm gonna pull that one up after I pull up the Economist one. I wanted to pull up this one just because it was so recent and I was like, oh, that's pretty relevant. There's so many. Here it is, The Economist. Now, this one doesn't specifically talk about women, but it talks about the viability, the what do you call it? Economic, viability of the rap feud, right? So it says music feuds can be a lucrative marketing tool. This is the article from The Economist, and this one is the one that we just saw. That one was from Billboard, and it was let me log in so y'all can read this. My husband's like, why are you logged into all these? I have accounts with like New York Times. I have, you know why? So I can bring your articles and find out what's going on. But so that one from Billboard, that one was from today. So that was very recent information. This one here, what I'm feeling like this one I'm going to show you is from 2018. So, and isn't it crazy how 2018 is like 2018 is like, is that, let me count how many years ago. 18, 17, 16, 15. I'm sorry. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. It's like 5 years ago. Hold on. Did I get rid of these? Okay. Music feuds. This is the Economist. Music feuds can be a lucrative marketing tool, right? So it says public spats have a noticeable effect on Google searches and album sales. It says, but diss tracks aren't for everyone. And as y'all can see, this was from 2018. So I don't want to like read this article. I'm just gonna give you some highlights from this article, but in essence, it's talking about, so we know about the Pusha T Drake beef, right? So Pusha T and Drake have had this beef, right? And long story short, they're talking about all these different years of that they've been trading these diss tracks, right? So trying not to read too much of it so we don't get all in the weeds, but it's basically talking about the so Google is a search engine, and so is YouTube. And the way that they're like selling our information and our data, and selling advertising is based on our information and our data. So um they're trying to get in our pockets basically, and figure out what to sell us. And so when we start doing all these searches, right, they start like, hold on, that's my doggy. But when we start doing all these searches, then they start trying to figure us out, and like track, like try to like understand us, you know what I mean, like build these psychological profiles basically. So I'm looking here, it says with these songs, it says these songs boosted the profiles, right, of two already established artists. And so at the height of the feud, like between May 27th and June 2nd, the number of Google searches for Drake almost quadrupled, while the number of searches for Pusha T was nearly 50 times greater in any other week in the previous year, right? And so it basically translated into sales and streams is what they're saying, right? Um so they talk about, go more into that. They go into the East Coast, West Coast, and all of that. But um they kind of they use the Kanye Taylor Swift uh uh what do you call that, volume, right? They looked at the Google search volume, right? So they're saying that 100 up here is the highest and 0 down here is the lowest. So they use like so they say Kanye West and Taylor Swift. So here's Kanye, here's Taylor Swift. So so this is in 2013, right? So according to this, like, it looks like a wavelength kind of graph, but you can see how, um I guess, let me understand what this point here is, because this was a spike, like right here. Oh, okay. So that was like, so from 2013 here, and then this is 2018 here. So you could see in 2013, 14, you could see, look at Taylor spiking up here around there, right? And then you can see Kanye does a spike here around 2014. Then you see Taylor spiking up around here. And then right here around 2016, you see Kanye spiking all the way up here, and Taylor's like kind of around here. And then Around 16, you see Taylor is right around here, and then around the same time you see Kanye's right around here. Taylor's kind of holding pattern here, and I guess Kanye just flattened out here, and then he spiked all up here in 2018. Um, this is from sources from Google Trends. Now you go down here to the Drake and Pusha T, you can see this one here is like, this is in the year 2018. So this is August over here, and this is August over here. So August 2017 to August 2018. So if you go all the way over here to August 2017, the pink one here is Pusha T, right? And the turquoise whatever one here is Drake, right? But the long story short, they kind of explained it like up in here, uh where, yeah, Pusha T was like 50 times greater than in any other than in any other time, right, of his life. This that was going into like East Coast, West Coast. Okay, boom. So this goes to, talk about like when he was picking fights with artists or whatever, when he went in '09 to talk, tell them why you're not, George Bush doesn't care about black people, and y'all, the Beyonce should have got that. So it says that this song here, I guess Taylor Swift, I don't know her music, but apparently she released a song, and it, took her to new heights or whatever. um and um let me see. So they had some sort of disagreement, right? So basically, there was a song released, Famous was released in 2016, and it claimed that in the song, it claimed that because he mentioned her, that it made her relevant, it made her, sales increased, right? It catapulted her into elevated stardom, right? um and so they disagreed, right? Over whether or not she had approval for the song lyrics, right? And in that time period, it says that people were searching for him, right? And so in that search, which was uh during the time that Trump was coming on the scene trying to do his political thing, but it says that that was the highest search point in 5 years, right? And it was, let me see, I'm trying to read, and also, okay, boom. So basically, uh at this point where it was the highest point, and then, yeah, like Trump comes on the scene. Was he endorsing Trump? I was trying to remember, was he endorsing him at that point? Did he endorse him from the beginning? I need to look that up. I think so. Um so then basically he made another, um so she capitalized on her part off of that, and she made a song called Look What You Made Me Do. It was the lead song on her Reputation album in 2017, and referred directly to Mr. West in both the lyrics and the music video. It says the song was played like 43.2 million times, and in its first 24 hours on YouTube, which was the largest one day for any video on the site. Um, so then it goes on to talk about how sometimes, you know, these beefs and things like don't work out, but I won't get us in the weeds or into any of that. But I'll go back down here where it says the feud can be a powerful weapon in a music executive's arsenal. It generates publicity for artists, be that up and comer taking on an established figure or a legend, reminding everyone of their status. And sometimes it reaps its rewards, but the stakes are high and the participants risk being ridiculed or overstepping the line. And losing damages an artist's reputation and can hurt future sales, right? So they talk about the feud between Drake and Meek in 2015, where the album sales declined by 45%, according to the Nielsen Music. It says that, right, remember that when he said he took too long to respond, and when he did, his lines were not as biting or clever as Drake's. And it says that they just going to like criticize his artistry. But let me see. But so let me stop sharing there. I know I'm talking about women in hip hop, but real quick, do y'all remember that do y'all remember that beef they had? And there was the that silent video, and then they did the voiceover, and it was Hitler. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but he was like upset about Meek Mill taking too long to like come back. That joint was hilarious. All right. All right, there's another I just want to pull up another article before we go. And it's another and I know I'm pulling up all this capitalist shit, but it's just because they tell us the truth in their media. So what is this? New York Times feuding for profit. Now, we started off with the we let me see, Raps World. Let me put this in. Let me see, Raps War. Oh, Raps Words. Raps War of Words. Raps War of Words in rap industry. All right, let's see. This was in the New York Times. Here we go. Boom. New York Times. All right. Do I need to sign in? Yeah, how do I sign in? Right here. Let me log in. And thank y'all for being patient with me. And let's see. Okay, boom. All right. Okay. Now, the reason that I'm bringing up this old article is because what I want to do is show that they have been telling us this for a long time. So let me go back here for a minute. Now, and while I'm doing this, I'll go back up here. So remember that first article that I brought up? That article, the very first article I brought up, that was from today. Today is Monday, February the 5th, 2024. Okay. And pretty much that headline that I showed y'all, it was very similar, but it talked about the specific beef. But the article I just brought up before this one, that was Billboard. Okay. And that was from 2018. Okay. Oh, peace, stay balanced. I'm striving, brother. I'm striving. I'm a hood intellectual. But this article, the reason I wanted to bring up these articles that are very similar is because they keep telling us, like, look what we're doing. So this article, and I want to put this from the New York Times, and I don't know if y'all can see, is by Lola Agunaike and John Leland, and it's from November 3rd, 2002. That's like 22 years ago. It's called Feuding for Profit: Rap's War of Words in Rap Industry, Rivalries as Marketing Tool. Maybe I'll read a little bit. 6 years after the violent deaths of the rap stars Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G., which some in the industry consider the culmination of a war of words between rival East Coast and West Coast rap camps, the world of platinum selling hip hop remains fascinated by threats and insults. Indeed, taunts and menace have often served as provocative come ons for $1.6 billion industry. That's in 2002. Now, with rap album sales even more depressed than the music industry as a whole, these rivalries hold a key to its turnaround. So this month, the rap world is counting on 4 heavily promoted CDs by major stars to salvage the year. Many people, from teenagers to the heads of giant media companies like Sony and Vivendi Universal, are looking to these albums as an indication of whether rap can be rebound and remain the vital form and cash cow. What is she crying about? It has been for the last decade. And as always, the feuds exacerbated in an era of corporate consolidation are stirring the buzz and whipping up enthusiasm. The current talk is about bad blood between the Ja Rule and DMX, who in recent interviews and forthcoming albums have taunted and belittled each other. And in the semi-autobiographical movie 8 Mile, which opens Friday, the character played by Eminem is beaten up by rival rappers who carry a battle of words off the stage and onto the streets. The killing in Queens last week of Jam Master Jay of the group Run DMC revived headlines of rap killings in the blood feuds of the past, though it is far from clear what occurred in the latest case. Whether the style is called rap or hip hop, underneath all the feuds is the question of money. Companies make out well, said Bert Padell, an accountant whose clients include Madonna, Run DMC, and others. Managers make out well, artists don't make out well. Mr. Padell said it was common for a performer with an album generating 17 million in sales to wind up with as little as 70,000 before taxes, when the performers feel compelled to use that money in competitive flossing or show off, tempers can flare. After more than 2 decades of growth, hip hop album sales hit a wall last year, declining about 15% to 89 million in 2001. From a peak of 105 million the previous year, according to the Nielsen SoundScan company, which tracks sales figures. Album sales for the music industry were down overall, but less 3% in 2001, reflecting both the recession and the growth of free internet file sharing services. For the first 6 months of 2002, sales of hip hop albums were down almost 20% from the same period last year, compared with a general industry drop of 13%. Once driven by surprise breakthroughs by new performers, the genre has come to rely on a few bankable stars whose recordings require ever escalating budgets. Hillary Rosen, the chief executive of the Recording Industry Association of America, blamed rap's slump on its success and its influence spread. Fans could get hip hop flavors from rock or pop albums. For the music business, which last year sold $13.7 billion worth of albums, hip hop accounted for 12% of sales. Even with this dip, rap has provided some of the industry's few bright spots. The 3 top selling albums this year, according to Nielsen SoundScan: The Eminem Show by Eminem, Nellyville by Nelly, and Ashanti by Ashanti, are rap or rap inflected. This month's major albums are by Eminem, Missy Elliott, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule. The rapper leaving the hood but still staying close. Many hopes rest on 26-year-old Jeffrey Atkins, known as Ja Rule, whose 4th album, The Last Temptation, is scheduled for release on November 19th. He also stars opposite Steven Seagal in an action movie called Half Past Dead, which opens November 15th. Interviewed in a Soho recording studio last week, Ja Rule communicated the positive side of success with $250 worth of jewelry and the negative side with a switchblade he calls Valley. The studio owned by Ja Rule's record label, Murder Inc., is called the Crack House. He said he needed the knife for protection. If I was Justin Timberlake, I wouldn't have to walk around with a gun and a knife, he said, referring to the lead singer in the boy band NSYNC. But I'm not. I'm Ja Rule. Ja Rule embodies the contradictions of a modern hip hop performer trying to balance thug bona fides with the embrace of the corporate mainstream. The father of two, married to his high school girlfriend, he has collaborated with Jennifer Lopez, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, and others. But his fame has grown, so has his fear for his life. A jealous former neighbor, an overzealous fan, anyone is a possible threat, he said. It's sad because that feeling is mainly towards my black people, he said. When my white fans come around, I don't feel uneasy, like they want to harm me. But when I'm around a whole group of black people, a defense comes on, he says. That's the tragedy of this, he added. Don't get it wrong. We love our ghettos and our ghettos love us. But there are always the one or two knuckleheads that you have to watch out for. Many rap stars tried to straddle two worlds, enjoying newfound wealth while remaining close to their roots. Fans, white and black, like their rappers to be close to the street. If you're not from the hood, he explained, they don't feel you're a rapper. Ja Rule, who grew up in Hollis, Queens, now lives in a wealthy New Jersey suburb. He bought his mother a home nearby and two other homes as real estate investments. But he said, like many of his peers, he found his new community lonely and sterile. You have no choice but to go back to your hood because that's where your friends are. That's where your love is, he said. The straddle can be precarious. The streets is like our drug, he said. That's what I'm trying to explain to the white audience. This is our addiction that we can't get away from. And this is what drags down the rap star. It's like the actual drug that drags down the rock star. Ja Rule said that, like many other rappers, he had overcome not just the difficulties of his youth, but also an early record deal that brought him recognition but little money. He is currently in litigation with the company because he has only recently started to really get paid. He said he is not apologetic about his jewelry, which included a $100,000 Rolex watch. I know people I know people probably look at me and think this is senseless, he acknowledged. But when you're dealing with what you call new money, which is what I am, to spend is still very fun for me. I'm still enjoying it. Then they talk about the numbers. Big sums in advances get whittled away. In Manhattan office cluttered with sports memorabilia, Mr. Padell, the accountant, outlined the economics of a typical hip hop deal with the caution that no two deals are identical. Not all rappers, he said, had the advantages of Ja Rule, who also makes money as a writer, as a frequent guest performer, and as a partner in a record company aside from his albums. Let's say you're a successful artist. Your last album sold, say, 1.5 million copies, he said. A performer with such a track record might negotiate an advance against royalties of around 1 million. This, he conceded, sounds like a lot of money, but he continued, he started ticking off expenses. Out of their advances, performers pay for all recording costs, including studio time, personnel. As hip hop has become more successful, album sales and radio airplay increasingly depend on big name producers like the Neptunes, Timbaland, and Jermaine Dupri, who charge anywhere from 35,000 to 100,000 per song. Many rappers also call in other artists for duets or cameo appearances at $10,000 to $50,000 a song, Mr. Padell said. The performer also pays for the rights to any digital samples, which vary widely in cost. In all, Mr. Padell put recording costs at about 700,000, all paid for by the artist, leaving 300,000, still a lot of money. But he said again, out of this figure, the performer's manager gets 20% or $60,000. The business manager or accountant takes 5% or $15,000. The lawyer who negotiated the deal in the first place might get 5% of the entire advance, or $50,000. After these fees, the artist has $175,000. Of this, about 70,000 would be due in taxes, leaving 105,000 for making it to near the top of the hip hop game. True, many performers also get money for concert appearances or publishing fees, but in turn, Mr. Padell says his hip hop clients often support a network of parents, siblings, and friends, and many of them tithe to their churches. Mr. Padell said that performers who make a $500,000 copy gold album might end up with more money working for UPS. Many of these costs apply to musicians working in any genre, but the high cost of producers, the short careers, the pressure to support family members, and the competitive flaunting of wealth weigh heavily on hip hop acts. As one hip hop executive explained, a rock band can show up at a music event in a Honda. If a rapper does not have the latest expensive SUV, his or her star appears to be on the wane, which can be career death. The industry. Companies need hits by nurture or merger. The real money in rap is made by media giants like Sony, Bertelsmann, and Vivendi Universal. In the mid 90s, the major music companies shifted to a strategy selling music around the world rather than just at home, and they merged to grow. The largest mergers of the era involved the creation of Vivendi Universal, which acquired what were once Island, Def Jam, Interscope, Geffen, A&M, Polydor, MCA, and other labels, and in the process acquired many of the top rap acts. At the same time, AOL Time Warner sold its share in Interscope after shareholder controversy over its rap portfolio. Vivendi Universal has 9 of the top rap albums this year, and its stars include Ja Rule, Eminem, and Ja Rule's rival DMX. Leor Cohen, chief executive of the company's Island Def Jam Music Group, said he missed the simpler practices of the 80s. When I first started working with artists like LL Cool J, the barrier to entry was low, Mr. Cohen said. There were no videos, no radio, but you could walk into a club and get the DJ to spin your album and sell 1 million units. Now the barriers to entry are high. You can't do that anymore. And the higher the stakes, the harder it is. Two executives said that even 5 years ago, a rap album by a newcomer could be made for $75,000, while an established star might spend $500,000. They said a comparable new act today would spend 500,000 and the star more than 1 million. Chris Schwartz, who founded the label Rough House in the 90s, blamed consolidation for raising costs and dampening creativity. He said the mega companies needed huge, safe hits, the equivalent of sequels in the movie business. They spent enormous amounts of money to make market share, he said. So now in the first year, you get a hiccup. It's a big hiccup. Yet, Mr. Cohen said consolidation was good for both his company and for hip hop. It shows the economic strength of the music, he said. In large measure, because of hip hop, the Universal Music Group distributes 1 in 3 records sold in the United States. They've been able to ride over the decline in the global market because of the strength of its rap and hip hop, said Michael Nathanson, an analyst at Sanford C. Bernstein, the boutique New York brokerage firm. The feud. Fights and jabs whip up the fans. Top rappers and executives, including Jay-Z, Nas, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Jermaine Dupri, have advanced their careers through battles of insult. Some of the talk is dazzlingly clever, much of it inflammatory, and all of it disseminating and promote it through record companies. Much of the beef or animosity is purely promotional. People have nothing else to talk about, said Corey Smith, who manages Talib Kweli, De La Soul, and other hip hop acts who have not engaged in this kind of jawboning. As long as it doesn't turn violent, to me, it's a good thing. Ja Rule's feud with DMX began over Timber, both having have gravelly voices, and DMX accused his rival of stealing his style. As it escalated, Ja Rule taunted DMX about drug use. DMX questioned Ja Rule's sexual orientation. Ja Rule ends a rhyme on his forthcoming album, "You're mad at the world or just me because I'm on top of the world." He accused DMX of attacking him for the sake of publicity. He's cold right now and he's trying to get a little heat going by making diss records about me. He said, but I'm not having that. DMX promises a song called Ruled Out. Feuds create publicity at little or no expense. Nas returned to the charts last summer through a running beef with the more successful Jay-Z. The rivalry was the spark for one of rap music's most celebrated comebacks, said Elliot Wilson, editor of the hip hop magazine XXL. Sales of the Nas album, Stillmatic, unspectacular before the feud, jumped to more than 1.6 million copies. Ja Rule and DMX both record for Island Def Jam labels. Mr. Cohen, the chief executive, said that it is the company's responsibility to make sure the beefs like theirs don't go beyond words. The moment you see it, you deal with it, he said. They have a great opportunity to change the socioeconomic course of their families for generations to come. And we remind them of that. Back in the crack house, Ja Rule, weary but optimistic, weighed the price of success. Who's really getting the money, he asked. Who's really shedding the blood and who's getting the money? We're the soldiers. We're the front lines. We're not in the Pentagon or the White House. He added, hopefully I'll die old and be able to laugh about all of this. I'll start putting together my Vegas lounge act now. I'm going to go back to the chat and see what y'all were saying. Man, it's so much. So y'all are let me go back. So yeah, Big T. Yeah, I think I put this before, but you said I was wondering if beef was a marketing strategy and if there's material support for such a claim. So yeah. I think these articles kind of, prove that, you know what I mean? Um yeah, I think so. Um so you're saying that's similar to outrage marketing, okay? Um you're saying if it's manufactured, then Nicki's a damn good actress. Hey, what's up? That's Marnice. Marnice is is the Midwest environmental justice person for one of our great organizations here, doing a great job. Let me see. I'm looking for no, so that article was 2002. That article I just read is 2002. So that's 22 years ago. That article. But it sounds like it's this year, right? Minus some little detail. What did you say, Big Teal? You said Def selling leading up the Bigfoot release. Nicki was advertising her Pink Fridays and upcoming merch events. Yeah. Yeah. That I was saying it was a rollout. I was saying that this whole thing is like a rollout. You said so Akuma says the music I like the most nowadays won't go mainstream, is way too introspective. Yeah, me. I'm all over the place. I like a little bit of something all over the place. What did you say? Stay balanced, that economists and Billboard are looking at this as if to say, suddenly encourage your artists to create beefs. Right. And that article that I just read, so that was New York Times. 22 years ago, New York Times basically did the same article. Let me see. Where is this? What'd you say? Stay Balanced said, reading these articles feels like the culture is in a microscope or laboratory being experimented on and the findings are being shared. I mean, yeah, I think so. And then Big Teal said, I wonder what role the failing economy is contributing to the low sales. Like, people aren't doing well. So, who are the people still able to purchase music? I don't know if people are purchasing music. I know people are going to shows, but I don't know if they're buying music. Uh So what did Big Teal said, I find this article interesting how the ghetto is a place that is seen as having knuckleheads and not how that is systemic impoverishment. Right. Like exactly the perspective is wild, right? Um Rich the African elder said, why do we trek this path around the Black Excellence Road on Plantation Lane? The formula is white people do as they do always. We respond because it's popular with whites. No action planned. Why? Yeah. I mean, I don't have no answer for you. No rebuttal. What it Big Teal said, whip up the fans. So wild how people can be easily influenced when they are fans of celebrities, right? And Stay Balanced said, I'm not sure if do you mean trap music has lasted as long if there wasn't as much corporate money in it though? I mean, I don't even like trap music. I'm gonna be honest with you. Um I really don't. Oh, let me share the article links. Okay. So this one, so okay, you do have to pay for these articles. That one's the New York Times. That's the one I told you. Wait, did it? Okay, that one that I sent, that's the New York Times article. Um, where is, let me see, are any of these in here? And I have so many. So that one was the New York Times one. What's this one? Uh, Let me copy that. This one is the one from 20. Oh, hold on. I gotta. The one from 2012. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. It opened up a whole nother window. But, let me see. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, y'all. But, let me close that and close that and close that. Okay, boom. Okay. This is the one from that's the one from what did I say? 2018. So that first one was the New York Times from 2020. I'm sorry, from 2002. This second one is, where did I say this article was from? The Economist, and that was from 2018. And then the other one, this one here, this is the Billboard one. And this Billboard one, this is the one from today. Um, this one is from today. Okay, boom. But okay, so I shared y'all on the articles, right? Okay, boom. So Global Stars Media X said, what are your thoughts on the publishing and distribution deal Megan just signed with ownership of her masters in publishing? Any overlap from her deal and settlement with 1501? So we could read about that in, I think, this article. Um Hold on. Uh Let me see. They're in this article here with in the Billboard article. Okay, boom. Here we go. Says Megan recently signed a distribution deal. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna copy that. Bring it over to here. And then can I read it? Yeah. All right. Then let's do a screen share and we can maybe read it. All right. So this is about let me quit that. Okay. It says Meg the Stallion's new release strategy, indie with an assist from a major. So I will say this: this is not a like new strategy. Like artists have been um doing distribution deals. Like a lot of the artists I know in Detroit or independent artists, a lot of them do distribution deals because they can um do keep keep their masters, do all their creative control, keep their creative control and just utilize the distribution arm of the label and just get their use it as a promotion tool. So that's been like how a lot of independents have done it for years. So she's working with Warner Music Group for distribution services. Let me see what else. Oh, I gotta log in. Hold on, y'all. Let me stop sharing for a second. I'm like, let me log in. And share. I gotta tell y'all, I gotta get a new computer because my computer's so slow. And let me tell you, I'm so grateful for this computer. It's no shade to the computer. It's just that it's not robust enough for like my needs. And what's interesting is that I received this computer gratefully. I received this computer um with as pay as payment for a gig I did. I did some work for someone, and instead of money, she gave me a computer. But uh anywho, the Rudy Tootie. So I'll go through this. Um and so she said after, oh my god, I don't want to see Taylor Swift. Okay. So why don't they show a picture of Megan? I guess because they're trying to promote this Grammy shit. But so it says after splitting with, come on, y'all. Oh Lord. You see how this like refreshing? Hold up a second. Okay. Hold up a second. There's so much graphics on here. It's like, so after splitting, oh Lord, I just signed in. How annoying is this? Hold on a second. I just signed in. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Oh Lord. Let me stop sharing for a second. I don't know why this thing is. I just logged in a second ago. Okay, there we go. Why are you doing that? It's like I'm logged in, but then it's like it keeps going back. Oh my god. I'm trying to read this article and you were just there a second ago. Why are you acting like that? Lord have mercy. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry about that. And then it goes to like some weird site that I'm like, really? Here we go. Okay, let's try that. No, this is like really weird. Let's try this one. I'm like, this is so weird. Oh my god. This is like acting, my computer's just like totally not acting right. So you know what I'll do? I'll grab the link and I'm gonna put the link in the chat because it is not. It just is acting funny. But that's the distribution deal. So we'll probably have to answer that question. Read that article to answer your question. And I'd have to pull it up on my phone to like see it properly. Um I know that, but they asked me, uh I'm sorry, Big Tio. They asked me to put the sites, so I put the sites in there, and you do have to pay for all these sites. I know they're not free. I'll try to find some free sites, but the capitalists don't be putting information nowhere for free. Wait, what did you say? Big Teal said I was even surprised. I heard about the rap beef between Nicki and Megan. I heard about it on YouTube. Wonder if this is a way of perfecting the strategy since this has been used as early as 2002. And that's what I was saying. I was saying um that for me, okay, I'm gonna try to pull up this history of rap beef. And I know this has been a long stream, but I want to maybe I can end with this. And I hope that the site lets me look it up because you know what? I think that that site that I just tried to pull up, like it, like now my computer isn't. Now that I closed it, like my computer isn't doing all that. Like I don't even know if y'all heard all that. Um, let me see. I pulled up stuff for y'all. I got this. I looked up so much stuff for y'all. Like the history of the beef between MC Light and Antoinette, between I don't know if y'all remember the between Azalea Banks and Angel Hayes. Um, what else? Uh, the Remy Ma and Lady Luck. Um, let me see what else. Let me see. There's a few different ones. So, there's this evolution of rap beef article, how hip hop media has changed rap beef. The 10 of the best female rap diss tracks of all time. Rap beefs, how they've shaped the hip hop narratives, a brief history, a brief hip hop history of rap battles, which is mm, rap beef. That okay, let's rap beef is different than a rap battle. And in some of these articles, they have conflated the rap beef with the rap battle. Cause like if you're in a battle, that's like lyrics and lyrics and lyrics and lyrics and lyrics. But I don't know. I guess the way that they do battles and stuff, I guess it does become what's the word I'm trying to say? But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put some of these in here so y'all can look them up. Um oh, the one that I hate the most is this one from Vibe. And it says stop playing into female rappers' catty feuds and demand bars. That's the one that I was just like, okay, with the misogyny. Okay. Like let me see. It's this one that like so it's this one that like totally like delegitimizes uh and who wrote this? This one was also in 2018. I just got exposed this writer because I'm really annoyed like that you wrote something like this. You know what I mean? Like I don't like these type of I can't stand these type of narratives. Like these are the narratives I resist. And I'm only going to put it on here cuz it's like I'm so annoyed by this narrative. I'm like I want to find this writer and like tweet and like a woman too. How annoying. You see that? It was 2018. Jessica McKinney. Who is she? Um it says stop playing into and she used the word female. Do you know how annoying it is? I can't stand that when they say female. You know what I'm saying? Like female rapper, any hootie rooty tootie. It says stop playing into female rappers' catty feuds and demand the bars. So basically, she says She says real rap fans, instead of playing into female rappers' catty feuds, keep that same energy and demand the same bars expected from male rappers. They go also into the Pusha T Drake beef, and remember when Nicki and Cardi was beefing? Um, but anyway, she's kind of approaching it from like uh a different perspective. But she was saying how, you know, this was in 2018. She says Nicki and Cardi's ongoing feud has been one of the most talked about beefs this year, but neither artist has been held to the same standard as their male counterparts of the same high profile status. Their duel reached new heights last Monday when Nicki revisited her notorious fight with Cardi at New York Fashion Week on Queen Radio, offering fans 100,000 to uncover footage that proved Cardi was beaten senseless by Ra Ali. She also claimed Cardi had attempted to stop her bag by demanding other artists not work with her, which several other artists have accused Nicki of doing to them. Um, and then Cardi went on Instagram. She recorded a series of videos that addressed the various claims made by Nicki earlier that day. And then Nicki returned with a Twitter rebuttal. And then they called it truth. But I hate that narrative. And I want to say this. Don't get me wrong. Most of these rappers, I don't care what gender they are, suck. Most of them are terrible. You know, most of these rappers are terrible. Most of these rappers don't have bars. Most of these rappers suck. And most of them are just trash. Let's be honest about that. And I've noticed that a lot of the younger people who like grew up on Cardi at this point, because Cardi been out for a minute. Okay, so she's been influencing. So a lot of the younger people that grew up on her, it's a lot of young. I just told my husband today. So it's a lot of young guys that copy Cardi's flow. Now he said they're copying the 3 6 Mafia, which is what she's copying. I gotta admit to y'all, like I never listened to 3 6 Mafia, so I don't know their music, but so I don't want to listen to it either to learn. But I'll take his word for it. So but yeah, that sucks, right? That she would pay fans to find a domestic violence video. I mean, Nicki is a capitalist, okay? She's a capitalist. That's what to me, that's what capitalism looks like. That's black capitalism to me. This is what I keep telling my friend, and he's talking about some conscious capitalism. But I wanted to show y'all that article quickly, and then before we go, there's another article that I want to show y'all briefly, and I promise I'll get out of here. I told y'all the names of some of them, but there's one that I actually do want to show y'all, and there's even one called like 10 types of beef. Like, what's beef? 10 types of beef. Complex magazine did that. Okay, this one here. Um, let me see. Is this the right one that I want to show y'all? Because like MTV did one, BET did one. It's really interesting. Let's see. I'm just making sure. Oh yeah, this is the one I wanted to show y'all. Okay, boom. All right, I'm gonna close this, and then I want to go here, and this one is the one. This is an old one. It's from I'm saying old. It's from MTV, from 2017, and it's by Hanif Willis Abdul Rakib. Okay, boom. All right, come on. Maybe later they want me to subscribe. I'm like, I'm not, you know how much stuff I'm gonna subscribe to. Um, let me see. Let me oh, what did you say? Big Tail let me see. Let me make sure I see what you said before that. What did you say? You said um glad to know there's more to beef than what the reactions to Nicki and Meg were making it out to be. And Stay Balanced says so many uh conservatives in rap. You said a mouthful. All right. It says women invented rap beef. Nicki Minaj, Remy Ma, and the truth about the Roxanne Wars. I'm not mad at that title. I'm not mad at that title. Okay. Um says Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj decade-long feud has roots in some of the best rap moments of the 80s. Should I read this whole thing? I'm not gonna. Well, how long is this? I don't want to put y'all to sleep. Okay, I think I can get through it. I'll try to hurry up and get through this. All right. Let me try to hurry up and get through this. All right, boom. All right. If I need to, I'll skip through things, but I'm gonna try to get through it. So one Saturday afternoon, while many of us were now this is in 2017. While many of us are enjoying our weekends, the Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj feud that had been brewing since 2007 hit its boiling point. The story started a decade ago when a then little known Minaj released a freestyle over a beat that Remy had been on a mere 3 years prior. In the freestyle, Minaj took what Remy perceived as shots at her career. Remy reportedly confronted the newer artist at an album release party, and though the confrontation produced no violence, the level of tension had been set. Minaj's rise to superstardom largely coincided with the window of time between '09 and 13, when Remy Ma was serving a 6-year prison sentence for assault and weapons possession in connection with a New York shooting. Even before that, though, rap struggled to allow two women at the top of the genre meant that they were seen as natural rivals. Remy's solo album, 2006, There's Something About Remy, based on the true story, was filled with clever, biting rhymes and a strong and unique delivery. For a moment, during Nicki Minaj's rise and Remy's incarceration, it seemed as though Remy was the latest example of an artist who lost her golden era to prison. Yet, since her release in 14, Remy has been active and sounding rejuvenated, peaking with a stellar verse on the Grammy nominated All the Way Up. With Nicki coming off a creative run of her own, a renewed collision seemed imminent. The two began circling each other, lobbing soft punches, and seeing where they landed. Remy freestyled over the instrumental to Truffle Butter, something that seemed initially harmless until one thinks back to Nicki freestyling over one of Remy's beats in 2007. After initial silence, Nicki Minaj peeled a layer off of the subliminal during her guest turn on Jason Derulo's Swalla last week, rapping, bless her heart, she throws shots, but every line sucks. And then it happened again with the run of bars on Gucci Mane's Make Love that were interpreted by many as being aimed at Remy. In some ways, this is Nicki being Nicki, always facing some imagined or other woman as foe, despite never having her popularity directly challenged by any of rap's other female MCs. Until now, that is, Remy, who seemed to be waiting for the green light to appear, took the opportunity to release Sheether on Saturday, a 7-minute long track wrapped over Nas's famed Ether instrumental. Sheether is a track that begins with haymakers and doesn't show much mercy to Minaj from there. In tone, it is the perfect diss track, a delicious balance of jokes and what listeners might believe to be facts, peppered with vague threats of insider knowledge. It was an embarrassing moment for Minaj, but also a showcase for those who might have forgotten Remy's roots as a battle ready MC who sharpened her skills under the mentorship of Big Pun. More than all of that, it was a diss track suited for the social media era, providing plenty of opportunities for us to gather in our digital rooms and throw jokes around, drowning out any response Nicki could have even considered. To better understand the significance of this moment, it's worth recalling the story of rap's first notable beef on record, which began with a B side. In 1984, UTFO released the single Hanging Out, which was a commercial flop. The second side of the single was Roxanne Roxanne, a song about a woman who supposedly rejected the group's advances. As the song was gaining traction and airplay, 15-year-old Lolita Shantae Gooden was battling any rapper who stepped to her on Queen Street corners. She was pushing back against the feel good nature of early 80s rap, offering battles as an alternative to party tracks. Sensing opportunity, up and coming producer Marley Marl recruited Gooden to record a verse over the original Roxanne Roxanne instrumental. She took the name Roxanne Shante and with it the persona of a woman responding to UTFO's original claims and turning them back on the group. When there are complaints about modern rap beefs being manufactured or feeling less than genuine, this part feels especially notable. Rap's biggest early beef was entirely fabricated and rooted in nothing but a desire to seize an opportunity. The response track, Roxanne's Revenge, sold 5,000 copies in 1985, causing UTFO to send a cease and desist over the sample, which hadn't been authorized. This led to Marley Marl simply laying a new beat over the song and pushing it out again. This time, bolstered by the controversy, it more than quadrupled in sales. UTFO retaliated by recruiting their own Roxanne stand in, a woman named Elise Jack. Her song, The Real Roxanne, was clearly inferior to Shantae's effort, but it got radio airplay, which was all either side could hope for. Shantae, who rightfully felt like her style was being leaned into a little too heavily, responded with Bite This, a 6-minute, slightly more aggressive track than her first outing. It is a relentless track taking on not just the real Roxanne, but everyone else too. I'm talking to all MCs out there. I'll say your name because I just don't care. Shantae was especially good at using her opening line as an anticipatory warning. The rhymes that you're about to hear me recite are dedicated to all those that bite, speaking only about half of the real message and letting the unspoken do the rest of the work. Here's where the separation began. Shantae, even at just 15 years old, was a seasoned battle rapper with chops. The real Roxanne, who by now was being played by Adelaida Martinez, a young, inexperienced MC from Brooklyn, was a gimmick, a way for UTFO to remain afloat. The story of the Roxanne Wars becomes more bizarre after this. Other artists, sensing an opportunity to capitalize on the new concept of manufactured disagreement for profit, began to release their own versions of the Roxanne story. It's comical to consider this now. Little known 80s rappers stumbling over themselves to capitalize on a two-person feud by retelling the same fictionalized story from different angles. There was The Parents of Roxanne by Gigolo Tony and Lacey Lace, Yo, My Little Sister, Roxanne's Brothers by Crush Groove, Roxy, Roxanne's Sister by DW and the Party Crew, and dozens of other tracks spanning various personas, insults, and narratives. At the end of 85, when everyone had their fill of the saga, UTFO took one final exhausted swipe at the air with Calling Her a Cab, Roxanne Roxanne Part 2, a tacky and sloppy song, complete with low blows about Shantae's appearance and family. Shantae, still sharp as ever, responded with Queen of Rocks, Shantae Rocks On, which landed a final blow to an opponent already on the ropes, gasping for air. The point is this: rap beef was born as soon as someone realized that there was profit in it. Sure, it's also about competition, but it wasn't always about competition or only about competition. Sometimes it's simply about the jokes. And that is also fine. People of color, specifically black people, use the roast as an opportunity to call someone closer so that they can might be able to tell them exactly what they want to tell them, stripped down and made plain. Women of color, specifically black women, are more skilled at this than any other demographic. If my mother, for example, wanted to throw my brother and me off the scent that we were in trouble, we would crack jokes, maybe laugh a little until we eased up. There's no work that can be done if you don't invite your audience to let their guard down. You hear this in Roxanne Shante years ago, and you hear it today in Remy Ma. The biting humor in the work is a vehicle to make the listener briefly comfortable before the airing of grievances. And decades after Roxanne's revenge, cleverly articulated friction can still make as much, if not more, noise than songs that might pack a house party. One response, hours after Remy Ma's Saturday bombshell, was, I don't like to see women tearing each other down. Why can't they just uplift each other? I can see that as a statement that both feels good on paper and requires so little work to unpack that it might also feel good off paper. But we rarely ask for such urgent unity out of men who are in conflict. As Saturday went on, it seemed like some people's problem with what Remy Ma had done, something about an imagined lack of decorum, was unfairly latched to her gender and certainly to her race. There were calls for Nicki Minaj to refrain from responding in the name of some moral high ground, which, had people known the history of their feud, was likely plowed through months ago. It felt like approaching two boxers who had already trained for years and stepping into the ring to ask if they considered pacifism. Less than 2 years removed from watching the consensus cheering of Drake's quest to end Meek Mill's career, it was odd to see people scolding knowledgeable rap fans for joking at the expense of a rap battle. Ultimately, though, this is about the ways that women of color, specifically black women, talk to and about their people in a way that is biting and honest and comical and jarring and beautiful and fear inducing. Who better to speak and let that which remains unspoken become a weapon? Who has been better at getting the whole collective together when one member gets out of pocket? I say Roxanne Shante invented the rap battle, and I'm taking records. But surely, in a time before Roxanne Shante existed, there was a black woman in a room with a closed door taking someone to task out of anger or love or both. It just wasn't recorded. The historical lens does important work. It is a mistake to imagine that Remy, in coming at Nicki so directly and ferociously, is not in fact trying to uplift her in the most generous way possible. To take time out of your life and career to face a worthy opponent and put the entire weight of yourself on them until they feel no choice but to rise to the level you have set is a blessing. For people who are perhaps unfamiliar with the nuances and shifting discourses of race, class, and genre, there is only a single way for one person or one woman to uplift another, locking fingers and walking hand in hand into a new and improved future for all. But sometimes, in order to lock fingers, the gloves have to come off first. Until then, I hope these two artists uplift each other by allowing themselves to be sharpened by the challenge. I hope they uplift each other by using this beef to sell the songs and albums, as rap has used so many beefs before. I hope more than anything that Roxanne Shante smiled when she heard Remy before launching into the first verse of Sheether. Shout a precursor, a warning. They told you your whole career I'd come home and kill you. So let me stop sharing for a second. Let me check the chat. Um, Let me see what it says in the chat. Oh yeah, y'all talking about black celebs. Now there is one more article. Let me close this one that I wanted to share. Let me see. It was less than an article. I wanted to ask y'all. So, in naming all these different beefs, I don't know. Let me see. Is this it? In naming all these different beefs or learning about all these different let me see some let me because I just looked this up. Um huh, where is that? So, hmm, I'm looking for uh man, I'm annoyed because I wrote a bunch of stuff down and I'm looking for it. Well, let me just go to this one. Uh what is this one? Is that BET? I think so. Okay. Um I think it was like I looked up like all these different, you know, sites about rat beef. There's one another one that BET did and they reminded me of some of the different beefs cuz and then yeah, this is it. Okay, boom. So another thing that I wanted to highlight is there's like a theme with well, we'll have to see about this current one, but historically there's a theme, and the theme is that a lot of the guys you know start these beefs. But one of the beefs, so do y'all remember this beef here with the hold on, with so there was a Jackie O versus Foxy Brown. You see, did y'all see that? Y'all, I know y'all saw that. Um, Lord have mercy. So there was a Jackie O with Foxy Brown. There's the Kaya versus Trina. Hold on. This thing is driving me insane. This one was reminding me of all these beefs because some of these beefs I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Um, I'm like, Lord have mercy. I might have to take it off the screen just so I can read it. I don't know why it's. And remember the Remy Ma, Lady Luck. I know y'all know, we all know Little Kim and Nicki Minaj. That was kind of painful. We all know the Little Kim and Foxy. Um I already told you about the Azalea Banks and the Angel Hayes. And I don't care about Iggy Azalea. I don't care. Uh, get her, Nicki. I don't care about that beef. Um, okay, so this was just going into like this article from BET just kind of goes into all the different um not all, but some. I think like 10 of the, top like women in hip hop beefs. But I just wanted to like make sure that I was naming them, before we get out of here. That's my favorite one, the Remy Ma with Lady Luck. My favorite because like those, if y'all never, but those are battles. Those weren't. I don't think they actually had real beef. I don't think they actually had real beef. um, the MC Light versus Antoinette. Let me tell you about this MC Light versus Antoinette. Something that made me think with the MC Light versus Antoinette beef. So what I didn't know was that, so y'all remember, let me make sure I turn this off because I hear y'all remember that Herbie So Herbie Lovebug, he produced Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play and Sweet Tea. And so he had produced uh, a track, you like a remix or something using the top billing from Audio 2. And whatever happened, it didn't materialize. So the whole beef started with Roxanne Shante and Antoinette because he at because Herbie asked Antoinette to hop on. So he took the that what's the name of that what's the name of that sample? What's the name of the sample for top billing? Oh Lord. What is the name of that sample? Okay, hold on. All right, boom. So, hold on one second. What is the name of this sample? Oh Lord. I'll find it. But any hootie Rudy tootie. Um I'm gonna just read from some of my notes. So forgive me if I'm looking away. I'll try to. All right, but so it all started. It was in '87, right? So Antoinette, she released her song, "I Got an Attitude," and it was on using the beat from Top Billin', right? They got upset because of the whole like Herbie not letting them use that sample. So that "I Got an Attitude" song that she released in '87 was on that beat, right? But she doesn't know this at the time, right? She just knows that she's a rapper, she's making a song. He's like, hop on this song. All right, boom. So then Audio 2, they are like, oh, we got to get her, right? But they don't want to like go after her because they're dudes. So they get MC Light to hop on this diss track. Is called 10% Diss. And she said in the lines in there, she's accused her of being like a beat biter and a faker, right? Saying that she doesn't write her rhymes or whatever. So then Antoinette did a response track on her album, The Lights Out, Party's Over. She calls MC Light a scallywag, but they're going at each other, right? Back and forth. And then Light fights back with her track, Shut the F Up, right? A lot of lines come out of the whole thing. It was one of the most publicly known feuds, like between women MCs, you know, and it kind of highlighted, like it kind of highlighted their competitiveness. Because remember Antoinette, they used to call her the female Rakim, but they did. um it got them a lot of publicity. They had different type of rap styles, so it was like a nice like style clash. um so Antoinette had a very like braggadocious kind of gangsterous persona, and Light had a little bit more of like a conscious like lyrical approach, right? um so the beef like eventually faded, but that's one of the ones that was highlighted. But if you remember, Light's career catapulted. Antoinette's career, what is it called? Torpedoed. They say that MC Light has something to do with it. Maybe so, maybe no. We'll never know. Um, but anyway, a lot of lines from that, a lot of samples from that, a lot of people, came after them. But the reason I want to say that is because, and maybe it's just the nature of the industry, but you know, e- it feels as though a lot of these beefs, with the manufacturing, and I know it even like in the underground, it's like it'd be sweet if you battle her, and it's like battling is one thing, but then when it turns into like this kind of beef, I think it takes like a life of its own. You know what I mean? And I think as time went on, I would say like with the Remy and the Lady Luck, I feel like their beef battle that they had, that stayed within the rap battle culture, like battle culture, which is different than like beefing. You know what I'm saying? Um, but the Honey Drippers, that was the name of it. That song by the Honey Drippers. Impeach the President by the Honey Drippers. That's the name of the sample. Very, very oversampled song in hip hop. But so I mean, part of the beef with theirs was this whole like, you know, who's biting off who. We had the sample first, which is interesting because in hip hop, a lot of people use the same samples. So um but maybe they thought that it was used in the same way, type thing. I don't know. But any hootie rooty tootie, I wanted to kind of get that in there. That was a very that was like a really pivotal diss. Yeah, the Big Teal said the battle prepares them for I'm gonna take this off because this is like making my computer go like the way I don't want it to go. Okay, boom. But let me see what you guys were talking about something else there. Oh, that's y'all are really talking off the wall now. um let's see. Yeah, but I guess when we're talking about, in general, like these orchestrated beefs, I also think of like the age, because like um initially we're talking about like youth. Even though hip hop is youth culture, I think it depends because a lot of rappers are spanning different ages in this point, but a lot of them are in their 30s at this point. A lot of the rappers are in their 30s. So I think, before we were talking about people in their teens, and now we're talking about people like in their 30s, right? And there's, I don't know, things just, I don't want to like generalize, but it feels like with the increased commercialization, because as we see, it started out being for commercial endeavor, right? To make money and to market, and this is going to get us, far in the industry. And any hootie rooty tootie, I don't know if we've solved anything this evening, but I hope you've enjoyed the discussion. I hope I've shared some useful information to you. I hope I've brought you some value to your life. I hope that you've spent this evening and you feel that it was a good time spent. Um, I want to thank y'all for rocking with me, for hanging with me, for listening. I appreciate y'all. My name is Piper Carter. The show is Beyond Breaking Barriers. And yeah, maybe we'll continue these conversations. I'm gonna ask Dr. Ball if he'll come on here sometime and do a buying power for the music industry. That would be super cool. Um okay, good. Thank you, Yipper99. I'm glad it's a good time spent. I'm doing the best I can to bring y'all some quality shows. If there's content that y'all want me to talk about, hit me up. Come on my social media. I'm on Piper Carter Podcast on all my social media, or Piper Carter. on all my social media. I'm also on We Found Hip Hop on all my social media too, so you can go on any of those. But I'm looking forward to, like, you know, bringing y'all something so that, you know, you feel like, okay, this was worth it. This is worth my time to, you know, to listen. Because if you're gonna spend some of your life's energy, I want to bring, you know, bring y'all some value. And I appreciate that y'all spend the time with me, you know, and it was a lot of ground to cover, right? It's interesting because when I tell people, oh, they're like, oh, show 2 hours, oh god, but but I don't know, it's a lot, but yeah, you go in the description of the this episode and you can find all the ways to, like, contact me if you want to let me know about, hey, let's talk about this, you know, if you want to challenge anything, you know, I'm open to it. I'm always open to learning and learning new things. And I appreciate all of y'all for spending your time here with me. And so just a reminder, that track in the beginning of my intro, and I'm gonna use it for my outro too, because I feel like I need an outro maybe, is a producer. Her name is Rated M, and she's a music producer, and she made that track, and she let me use it for the podcast. So I appreciate all of y'all for spending this time with me. I'm gonna throw on the branding to end, and then I'm gonna end the stream. So I'm gonna see y'all next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And y'all have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves and one another. Peace.
Rated M and a B.